all I got to say is the #1 real estate investor in Fresno, California is back. Jason Pritchard, welcome back, man. How you doing?
I am doing great, Zuber. It's good to be back on the pod with you, man. How's everything going?
Oh, it's been going well. We sorely missed you, but I have been following your journey, your wife and yours journey. You took some time to go back home, as you might say. So why don't you just catch it up real quick on what you did, and then we'll get into the meat of the discussion.
Yeah, it was really cool. We took just over 2 weeks for a long extended trip. We first connected with our virtual team in the Philippines, which was really nice. We have 6 core team members that have worked with us for a very long time. We would not have a business without those team members. So it was really nice to connect with them. We spent a few days there and then traveled to the island that my mom's family from called Palau, that is in the South Pacific, short flight from the Philippines. Spent 10 days there catching up with fam. And so it was nice to get back home, get back in the business and see how things have transitioned since we've got back. So it's been a great trip.
Well, let's talk about the second half of the year, because I am both petrified and excited.
Okay.
And I want to kind of lay this out for you because, again, I think we're heading into the slow season. This is not abnormal. Post, August and on is of the two halves is the slower half. We currently have rates over 7% again.
Yep.
We have multiple Fed presidents talking about multiple rate hikes to come. That is hikes with an S, not hikes. And I think there's going to be more and more news talk about a double dip. There's going to be a lot of stuff coming where I think buyers are going to pull back.
Yeah.
I think buyers are going to pull back. And I think a lot of folks that watch this channel are like yourself, Jason, that you run a business that was wildly successful in the first half. I remember you sharing with us, you had a $300K month profit month.
Yep.
You also shared with us that January and February were particularly tough because of acquisitions that were done in the second half of last year.
Yep.
I fear we are set up for a similar year for those kind, like if you're a flipper, like if you're above the median, watch out going into the second half. So let's start there. I fear we're going to repeat last year. What are you sensing? I know it's early, but those wounds are, they're probably healed, but they're still pretty current.
Yeah. I have definitely a little bit of PTSD from the spring and the summer of 2022. And so those are the discussions that we've been having with our team as well. I think you hit the nail on the head, Zuber. I think right now we have to, especially people that are in my business, the flipping side of the business, we have to be very, very cautious with our acquisitions right now, because the deals that I lost money on at the beginning of 2023, like you said, were the ones that I acquired this time, 2022. So what were our learning lessons? I think that's a good topic of discussion for us to have right now. What are the things that we can learn from last year to make sure that we don't have the same mistakes and do that? So I think number one, and I'll lead off with this, is you and I say it all the time, but it's worth repeating. You have to stay below the median price point on all of your acquisitions right now. Everything in our market, which is Fresno and Central California, everything that is moving and moving quickly is all stuff that we're buying, fixing, and selling below the median price point. We have multiple exit strategies. Those are easier to flip. Those are easy to assign and wholesale to other buyers. If you still need to turn those into a rental, you can do those right now too and still make the numbers cash flow. Anything above that price point, guys, you have to be very cautious right now. So I think step number one, stay below the median price point.
I just want to hit that one more time, because we say below the median. I just want to be crystal clear. You're not talking about buying below the median. You're talking about, and correctly, selling. The exit is below the median. I just want to hammer that really hard.
So these are how those numbers work for us in our market, guys. The median sales price in Fresno County fluctuates between 350 to 375. So it's right around that number, in any given month. So on a typical purchase for us, we like to buy somewhere in the low 200s. Average flip, we're going to put 50 to 75,000, and then we're going to sell for somewhere around that median price point of around 350. So 220 to 225 purchase, 50 to 75 in rehab, 350 exit price. We're looking right now typically to make about a 15% cash on cash return on our initial investment. So what we buy it, fix it, our holding costs, add that number up. If on paper we're not penciling about a 15% cash on cash return from that number, we're probably not going to do it. And then there's some other mitigating factors, guys. If you're buying with tenants in place, or if you've got squatters, or if there's going to be longer hold time, then you need to boost up those profit margins a little bit. But that number's gone up. Yeah.
Yeah. No, so I'm glad you just said that. What you're looking for today, the 15%, is higher than before. You're looking
Correct.
for increased margin of safety.
Correct. We would be okay with a 12% deal on those types of, because we do volume here too, guys, right? So for us, we'll do somewhere in the neighborhood of 70, 80 total deals this year. And when the market was moving really quickly, things were going up, we could get away with even penciling 10%, because on paper it would be a 10% margin. And then by the time we sell, it's 12, 15 or whatever the number is. Now we're being very, very cautious and just being a lot more particular about the stuff that we're buying, just to make sure that, we don't find ourselves in the same position that we were in this time last year.
And I want to poke at that number 15%, because I believe I understand how you're doing the math, but I want the audience to realize, because I don't think a lot of people do. You're not talking about a 15% annualized return. You're talking about cash in, cash out, 15%. So if you got 15% and the hold period was 6 months, it would truly be a 30% annualized. Is my assumption correct?
Yeah, I think that math is correct. So the easiest way that I can explain it, guys, is take whatever we're all into the project for. We have a simple calculator that my acquisitions team uses to analyze our deals, because you got to think we're running numbers on minimum of usually 4 or 5 deals every single day. So we have to be able to run through these things very quickly. So we look at what we are purchasing the property for, what our rehab costs are, and what are all of our holding costs, interest to the borrower, all those holding costs. Let's say that number is 300 grand. Okay.
Yeah.
We take that number, multiply it by 15%. That's $45,000. My projected profit on that flip should be about 45 grand in order for us to make that work. So that's
the reason this is important is, let's just add the other element, time. Let's say you're in and out of this deal in 6 months. You're 45K. Actually, let's do this. You're in and out in 3 months, or you're out in 6 months.
Yep.
45K is 45K. The
Correct.
reason that is important, because if you want to be really picky, 15% return in 6 months is a 30% annualized return.
Yep.
And I don't want people thinking that we're talking annualized 15% when you're only getting 7.5. So I want people to realize, again, you're being super conservative on your number. So I think that's
important. And that number and those type of projections will work on properties that we're taking over vacant. These are not things where we're going to have to pull plans and permits, and we expect to be in the project for long periods of times. These are for simple, straightforward, cosmetic in nature rehab projects. That's it. We're not doing anything crazy to them. Anything that goes out longer than that, we're going to have to add, some kickers on there to boost up the margins and make sure that it's worth our time.
So the other thing I remember, because again, I love the fact that people can go back in your playlist. It's just Jason Pritchard if people wanted to watch it. We did a postmortem on your 6-figure losses. I think it was February. And one of the things that you admitted then, and we'll see if you're doing it now, is you stretched the locations. You went out farther and farther because deals were harder and harder to get. And it's just, it's harder to get teams out there. It's more expensive. The things get delayed. You don't go see it as much. Are you still pretty tight on how far out you'll go?
Here's what we're doing in regards to geographic location. We are continuing to look outside of our home base, but more for deals that we can assign, not deals that we can take down and flip. So that's the other thing that because we do, as my team has grown, our operating expenses have grown, our marketing budget has grown, right? So there's this balance that I have as a business owner where it's like, hey, now my expenses are hovering in the $30,000 to $35,000 a month range, right? For our marketing, payroll, all of that stuff. And so you do have to find this balance between being picky and not putting ourselves in a position with these projects where we're either overextended or we're buying bad deals, but we also need to bring revenue in. And that's the problem with flipping, guys. When you flip at a high volume, right, it's your cash management cycle is like a roller coaster ride, right? Because when you have a lot of cash going out on these projects, we're the last ones to get paid. And sometimes that money, that revenue does not come back into our company for, like you said, 6, 9 months sometimes, right? So what we've done is we understand what we're really good at. We're good at finding good deals. We're good at acquiring and negotiating those deals. We're good at building relationships with people that are always looking for these opportunities. And so in markets like Modesto and Stockton that are maybe a little bit further away than what we would normally do, we'll find those properties, try to get them at good prices, and then assign those deals over to investors that's their home base. So then that way we can bring a chunk of revenue in much sooner, 20, 30,000 from that assignment fee, and keep our cash management process a little bit more manageable for our team.
Now, I'm just curious. Let's rewind the clock 2 years ago. You were finding these deals. Would you have back then, right, when the market was still screaming hot, would you have tried to flip more of those, or would you have always tried to kind of assign those?
I think we were just very flip heavy 2 years ago because of what the market was doing. So I think probably yes. I think we probably would have taken the risk and done it. And now we're just, like I said, like we have to. The good thing for us about looking at these other kind of markets that are a little bit further out of our home base is that in the Central Valley, if you go to Stockton or you go to Fresno, the markets are very similar, price points are very similar, age of the homes are similar. So it's not that much more work for us to analyze and underwrite a deal. It's not like we're going into San Jose or San Francisco where we have to learn a whole new market. We have to have a whole new set of numbers to run everything. We can use the same analytical tools that we use in our normal day-to-day business for Fresno to underwrite deals in these other markets. So it doesn't put that much more work on my team. And we've always just done a good job of building relationships, and people know that we're actively buying and selling. We've been doing more of these networking events and going out further. So you have more people looking for deals. And so what I've learned is that the investor that can control deal flow will always be able to find success in this business. So we've always learned how to control deal flow. We've always figured out ways to find deals. The marketing that works in Fresno works pretty much anywhere else. And so that's kind of how we're pivoting right now. And so we're being a little bit more balanced with the types of deals that we're doing, especially in some of these markets that are further out.
Yeah. So kind of opening this with the be careful, notion. If you're in the business of flipping, a lot of people watch this are in that business are doing very few people are doing your volume, but even if you're doing just 2 or 3 a year, remember last year, it's your acquisitions in August, July, August, September that become January and February's losses if we repeat last year. But now let's flip the script. I think what we might be going through over the next 5 months is perhaps the best buying opportunity for people that follow one rental at a time. Get a buy box, look at it every day. I'm seeing more and more examples of sellers starting to capitulate, right? They tried wish pricing. They've tried for a while. They just need out. They're mentally checked out. We're seeing more and more examples of people getting deals that frankly would have first been considered disrespectful. So
I want to piggyback off. Yeah, I want to piggyback off what you just said. The leads and the deals that we're closing now for the people that are watching are people that came into our system 12 months ago, guys. Like literally we put a property in contract last week that we've been talking to that seller since June of 2022. And so June of 2022, their price expectation was still like, COVID numbers, right? They were still thinking like, oh, this, and now finally, over 12 months later, we're finally at a point where it's like, listen, guys, that train left the station and it's not coming back. And so I think sellers finally realize that. So if you have some of these older, I'll call them leads in your system or prospective sellers that you've been talking to for a while, now is the time to pick back up the phone and see if they have sold that property. And if they haven't, I think they're probably much more open to realizing what a reasonable offer is going to be like. So follow up with some of those older sellers that you've been speaking to.
Yeah. And again, it doesn't have to be older sellers where you're doing mailers or driving for dollars or texting. You could be in the MLS. I want to give a shout out to Tammy. Tammy, lucky enough, has been shopping for an ultra luxury home. And they definitely are one rental at a times fans because they're cheap like me. And she said I want to make sure I get these numbers right. Let me read this. So they've been tracking a particular property for over a year. And they finally called up and got the seller to take their price. And the seller gave them the 2 lots that he owned as well because he was mentally checked out. So again, folks, this happened to be an ultra luxury. Most of us aren't shopping there, but there are going to be deals up and down the stack. If the seller has been out there, again, I am only looking at deals that are over 30 days. And I'm being disrespectful. And I know it. My first offer is not meant to get a yes answer.
Yeah.
It's meant to plant the seed so I can follow up in the subsequent weeks and months to come. So how does that track?
Yeah, no, I think that's good. I think we've never, I don't want to say never, but because we've had success with so much of our direct to seller marketing for off market deals, we have not had our eye on MLS probably as much as some other investors do. And that's changed for us this year. We are looking at some of these listed opportunities. We're putting out a significant amount of offers. I probably make, my team writes up, I'd say maybe 15 to 20 offers per week on MLS deals. And the starting point is what you're talking about. We run our numbers based off of what works for us. So we look at those deals, we put it through our formula, that max offer comes out, and we start just below that just to see, because we know typically we're probably going to negotiate. And I think you said it, guys. I think, would it be great to wake up and have one of those signed? Yes, it's great to do that. But for you, it's just the starting point. You want to gauge where that seller is at. And the only way, and I see this a lot with newer investors, is sometimes there's this hesitation to just shoot your shot with some of these numbers. And I'm like, guys, just make the offer. I get crazy offers submitted on my stuff all the time. And if I don't like it, I just reject it. And it's like not anything personal for me. So yeah. So I think you need to get past that initial hesitation of, what's the seller going to say, or, oh, it's too low, or this or whatever. You just never know. That's the one thing, guys, that I've learned over the years, is that you can't apply rationale sometimes to, some of the decision-making processes on why sellers sell for below market value. They just, for whatever reason, they do it. And the only way you increase your likelihood of getting your offers accepted is it's a numbers game. You have to keep submitting those offers, following up, run the numbers based off what works for you, make that offer. If it works, great. If it doesn't, on to the next. And that's it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with that more. And again, what I'm trying to get people to realize is I do think the second half is going to be slow. And I actually made a public declaration a couple of times this morning that I think August existing home sales for the country will actually come in at below 4 million. I'm making that call on August 6th. I just talked to so many people about their pendings being so down. I think it's going to be really, really slow. And that is a great thing. If you are a buyer, it is a great thing. If you're a seller, not so much. Yeah. I want to be a buyer when the market slows down, because I do the work every day. I know what my offer is. And folks, I will write lower and lower offers as months go by. It's just how it works, because I'm not like Jason. I can't buy everything. I don't want to buy everything. I want 1 or 2 deals a year. I'm lazy. 1 or 2 deals a year. I'm happy.
No, that's good, man. I think I think the big takeaway for me, if you guys are watching this video, is don't be afraid to shoot your shot. Stay patient, right? Don't get rushed. Have a buy box and a formula, and then just stick to that number. Do not deviate. Now is not the time to deviate. Now is not the time to try to fit a round peg into a square hole. It's not going to work. We cannot force a deal. Take it from somebody that probably forced a few deals last year that I shouldn't have. Learn from my mistakes, guys. And that's why we love coming on here and talking about it, because we can share our experiences in real time, guys. Like, this is what my team and I are talking about right now during our high level meetings and our discussions about how we're actively pivoting the business. And so I wish I would have had, when I first started, access to people and content like this, where I can just kind of follow along and use our experiences as like my GPS to get there, man. So yeah, follow along. If I can help with any of these things, and you need a second set of eyes on a deal or numbers like that, feel free to reach out and message me. I'd be happy to take a look at it.
Well, let's close on that. You put out a lot of amazing stuff. You have a wonderful website, a huge IG following, Instagram following, and you are just one of the biggest go-givers and nicest guys I know. How should they look up or follow you?
Yeah, jasonpritchard.com is my website, guys. All of the tools that we use, everything that we were talking about today, all this stuff's available for free. You just got to register for the website.
I can't believe you still give that.
We've got the calculator that earlier we were talking about. We run numbers on five deals every single day, and the calculator that my team uses to run all those deals for us to come up with our max offer is available for free. All the scripts that we use to talk to our sellers, of a 10-page blueprint on how we run our business, it's all up there and available. So feel free to go there. Send me a DM on either Instagram or Facebook. My handle's Jason Pritchard. I get lots of people that reach out from the one rental at a time community. I love helping you guys. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact me.
Yeah, dude, do me a favor, send him out, say hi from one rental at a time, so he knows his time with us each week. is worthwhile. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.